how do you track alcohol in your macros? Let's talk about it.
Don't you want to look good naked?
All right, when it comes to tracking alcohol, there's a few different ways to go about this. So if you are using a tracking app like MyFitnessPal, you'll notice that when you add in an alcoholic drink, it will populate your calories, but it's not gonna populate your macros. So we have 3 main macros: protein, carbs, and fats, but we also have an alcohol macro. So in your tracking app, it's not gonna actually count alcohol as its own macronutrient. It's just going to add it on to the calories. This can be a little bit confusing, especially if you're new to tracking or you're trying to figure out how to track your macros or hit your macros for protein, carbs, and fats. And then you have an alcoholic drink and you're like, what the hell do I do? So a little background, alcohol has about 9 calories per gram. So it has calories, unfortunately. And it probably also has, depending on the alcohol you're drinking, whether it's, just straight vodka or straight liquor, for example, that's gonna be mostly alcohol calories. But then if you're adding that alcohol to drinks, like mixed drinks, or you're having a beer or wine, there's gonna be some other calories coming from probably carbs and a little bit of fat. Typically no protein, something to pay attention to in a second. I'll talk about that. So if you wanna go about tracking your alcohol, I would say first just think about, okay, if you are tracking it in the tracking app, right? It's gonna show up in the calories. But if you're trying to track your macros and you're paying attention to that, what I would typically recommend is if you know that you're gonna consume alcohol one day, the first thing I would do is plan your day ahead of time. So if you know that you're drinking alcohol one day, whether it's on the weekend or you're going to an event or maybe it's every day, think about planning your day ahead for your other macronutrients first. The number one thing that you need to plan ahead though is your protein. So I like to say, go ahead, plan your protein, make sure you're hitting your protein goal for the day. Then fill in the rest of the carbs and the fats based off of what you're planning. If you haven't seen the video yet that I recorded on how to plan your day to hit your macros, check that out. So once you have your day planned out, then we can think about the alcohol. So if you are using a tracking app and you just want to pay attention to the calories, that's fine. But another way to do it is thinking about, okay, if I want to count my alcohol towards a certain macronutrient for the day, right? So I planned out my day and I have X amount of calories left. Some people are like, how do I count that? Should I count it towards my carbs? Should I count it towards my fat? You can really just choose any one you want, but don't count it towards your protein. Again, protein is gonna be super important to make sure that you're maintaining. If you are looking to lose body fat, change your body composition, it's not that you can't drink alcohol during that period of time, but I would just make sure that you're choosing you're really choosing if it's worth it or not, right? So for me, if I'm in a fat loss phase or, I'm looking to lose some body fat, I typically limit my alcohol because I'd much rather get my calories from food and nutrients. And we also have to realize that our body doesn't want us to drink alcohol. Alcohol is literally a toxin to our bodies. So don't get scared or anything like that. Just realize that your body's gonna process that alcohol before it processes anything else. So that could be potentially hindering some of your results over the long term, especially if you are consuming alcohol very frequently. Again, it doesn't mean that you can never drink during a fat loss phase or whatever it may be, but just make sure that you're picking and choosing and really figuring out like what's worth it to you. So for me, drinking is worth it at some points, but if I'm on a serious timeline and I have a serious goal, I'm gonna put those calories towards food because I like to eat. So again, just depends on you and your specific goals, your timeline, and what's worth it for you. Women, we believe